A couple of days ago, I had a friend from Italy ask me what radial symmetry was, and he's mainly a ZBrush user, and so for any ZBrush users transferring their skill to Maya, or anyone who wants to know how to do rims, I decided to create this video. The thing about rims is that I find them the easiest asset to model out of the whole car, and if anything, it's actually the most simplest asset, and so in this video I'll show you a short breakdown of how I do the rims. So starting with a cylinder, I pretty much use that as my anchor point, so everything will revolve around this cylinder, and I pretty much just deleted all the other faces just to leave it as a flat circle, and I'll be using that as my anchor point. Well, pivot point really for this rim. This knowledge can technically be applied for any radial asset that you're going to model. This knowledge I find very common amongst many other car modelers who would approach rims in Maya. I will admit that there were a couple of incorrect approaches that I made when modeling this rim. It hasn't been long since I last modeled a rim, and this was just me being very rough, but the general knowledge of modeling a rim should be the same all the way. But personally, I think I should have started from the outside and then modeled to the inside instead of starting from the inside. So as you can see, I've started working on one arm of the rim. In fact, specifically what I'm doing is that I am modeling one half of that arm, and then I will be using the duplicate special function to my advantage, and that will be later shown down in the video. But for now, what I'm focusing on now is the basic blocking of that first half of the arm, and then I will be smoothing down later on. Another thing that I'd like to point out is that when doing these kind of assets, you are working in 360 degrees. So when modeling, I would normally count how many arms are on the rims, and then I would go into my calculator and divide 360 by the number of arms. Slowly shifting from the blocking stage to the smoothing stage. The purpose of the blocking stage was simply to figure out the topology to work with and then smooth it out, but always figuring out better topology as I go along with it. Here I'm using the duplicate special function to my advantage. And when working in this, when using the duplicate special function, it really depends how many segments that you're working with, and that'll decide the values that you're going to use in your duplicate special. For me, I'm working with 5 segments, so 5 divided by 360 is 72, and so 72 will be my special number when trying to rotate. At the same time, when I'm rotating, I make sure that my pivot point is back on my circle that I first added before modeling out. So making sure that center circle is my pivot point, and then rotate. So just slowly beveling, adding in edge loops for creases, adding in divisions on edges for more vertices to work with, and then cleaning up the edge flow. It took me a while to figure out a good topology for this corner here, but I wasn't having a good time working on this. My mind wasn't clear, and it just took me a little while just to figure this out.